the trains have a special place in the MTR family too. So some of you would have enjoyed the rides we had this morning. We went on a few trips up and back to Sheffield on some of the avoiders and up on the mains and the electrics. We are offering 2 sessions this afternoon. For those of you who haven't purchased tickets, we will be putting some on sale out the front there at 1:20, so make sure you book a ticket to come along. But I've got a little message from Steve Murphy, the MTR CEO, who sadly couldn't make it here today because of the industrial action. And I'll just read some notes from him. And I quote Steve Murphy, "I love the 315s because they saved my bacon. In 2015, when we won the Crossrail concession, we had a year to mobilise these trains before starting operation. We were very lucky to inherit some excellent people, but the stations were sadly falling apart, the crowding was dreadful, and the trains weren't particularly reliable. But as we planned to mobilise, performance was getting worse, and with the new engineering team, led by Mrs. Jones, Payne, Stockbridge and Rice, many of whom we've got here today, they suggested one of the first priorities would be a major cleaning regime and modification programme. The team were enthusiastic about the cleaning program, but they told me that the modification plan was premature and would be wasteful. Mr. Jones and Mr. Payne explained that instead we would ensure the trains were maintained as they should be and that the doors were not defective, but we need to stop customers holding them open. And of course, if all that failed, we had Derek, and I think Derek's here today. Derek is the Chief Marshal here, really, of the Elizabeth Line platforms at the Liverpool Street Station. But as Steve says, despite my scepticism, this approach was rigorously followed and we were rewarded quite quickly with sparkling trains courtesy of our partners at STM and a rapidly climbing reliability thanks to our partners at Greater Anglia, and in time the team rightly won awards in both areas. Most importantly, the improvements in the trains was a key driver in rapidly improving customer satisfaction along the route and gave us the platform to achieve the Elizabeth Line that we all enjoy today. So thank you, Class 315s. We looked after you and we certainly looked after us and our customers. I will miss you. That's from Steve Murphy, who's the CEO of MTR UK. Now moving on, when we decided to run the event today, we knew that we wanted it to be a charity event. That was very important on our minds at MTR, and Railway Children was the ideal partner. That's because Railway Children does amazing things, from their street and community level outreach programs, providing targeted on-the-ground support, through to advocacy at a government level. I'm delighted that all the proceeds from today's ticket sales, coupled with your generous donations and purchasing of memorabilia and raffle tickets, will all go to the Railway Children. And so far in ticket sales and donations, we've raised just over £10,000, so that's an excellent result. Wouldn't it be lovely if we got up to 11 or 12? So please be generous on the 3rd and 4th runs today on board the train. And again, sadly, due to industrial actions, our friends at Railway Children were unable to join us today, but we have some words which they provided, which I'd like to read on their behalf. It is of no exaggeration to say that without the railway community, Railway Children would not have been able to help change the lives of so many vulnerable children. Over 300,000 and counting across the UK, India and East Africa. By joining us today to celebrate the Class 315, you're playing a vital part in having a positive impact on the future of children and young people right across here in the UK who are facing unimaginable situations. The COVID-19 pandemic not only wiped out all of our charitable event donations, but it pushed these children further into crisis. Imagine being told to stay at home when home for you means violence, abuse and neglect. Our dedicated team of project workers worked round the clock to make sure these children were kept safe and had someone to turn to. That work continues now, and now that everything is getting back to normal or whatever normal is as we go forward. Unfortunately, our team has now seen the after effects of the pandemic firsthand. There's been a significant decline in the mental health of the children we work with. In the worst cases, this is manifesting in children attempting to harm themselves on trains. But the good news is that the money raised by our supporters, people like you, is helping us to create a safety net across the United Kingdom, which helps to ensure these children can be spotted quickly and saved from harm. We're delighted to see these events like this back, not just for the money they raise, but to see the railway community come together after such a long time apart. We hope that you take a moment to feel proud of the part you're playing today in changing the futures of children that you will likely never meet. We and they are so appreciative of your support. Thank you. And thank you to Mary from Railway Children who provided those words. Then it's important we do the wider thank you, because today wouldn't happen without a lot of different people here, different organisations. First of all, the MTR Elizabeth Line engineering team. As you heard from Steve's words, they brought the trains up to a terrific working order, improving the interior comfort and creating a reliable unit. The customer experience team, the CE team, did a great job learning how passengers use the trains, particularly the boarding process, which saw door failings plummet and the units becoming an incredibly reliable unit on the Anglia route. We really did bring out the best of the Class 215s. To Eversholt, Greater Anglia and Network Rail, Eversholt, who supplied the 315s over the years and have been a brilliant partner for the Elizabeth Line, particularly to us as the operator of MTR. To Greater Anglia, who housed the 315s and undertook the heavy maintenance, thank you for keeping the trains running. And Network Rail for providing support here at Liverpool Street Station. Now, of course, a very